What's up? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today, and with me I have some more RPG horror stories. Now that I shared my RPG horror story, I will let you know right now that I've left a couple of details out because otherwise the video would be like 6 hours long. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. We also left out some things about the DMs from that server because, well, like I said, it would just extend the video out by another hour because, oh my god, there's a lot to cover. But if you'd like to hear that at some point, maybe I'll do like a Q&A like starting this month or something. Actually, you know what? Yeah, screw it. We're gonna do a Q&A. On my YouTube channel, I'll be posting a community post, and on there, if you have any questions to me or to Micah or to Mary, please ask them right there. I'll collect all the questions and do the proper Q&A video at a later time. For now though, we'll get some RPG horror stories for today. I'm very fed up at one of the people in our party. This isn't incredibly serious, but it's hurt me enough to the point that I just need to get this off my chest. For context, this is a joke campaign that me and my buds have wanted to play for a while, and after much time, we settled on a place and play once or twice a week. We play at a library near us on Saturdays. Our party was a bit scuffed, to say the least. We had an arcane trickster rogue, me, an assassin rogue, a cleric, problem player, a druid, and halfling barbarian that joined around session 4 or 5. The first few sessions were a hot mess, and a really goddamn fun one for that. Trusted the DM with my character sheet, but for the first 2 sessions he forgot to bring it, so the first sessions were pure roleplay, and it was fantastic. This world was similar to Dune, except it was mostly dirt land. Of course, there were still giant sandstorms. There were rocky outcrops which the dirt worms couldn't eat, so we have to take refuge there. First 4 or 4 sessions were going really good, but then things started to go wrong when Cleric wanted to change his character. This would have been fine, but his character was incredibly important to the story. We had tamed an enormous dirt worm, and via feeding it anything he could find, it grew very large. So we used it to carry the cleric church. This church was basically our hub world, and he wanted to kill his character, basically making the church's existence kinda useless. Other than having a place to stay when they're traveling on the big dirt worm, or alternatively, if they wanted to make a new character to play something else, they could ask the DM if they could turn that cleric into a story NPC, which means they wouldn't have direct involvement in the story, but would still exist there, making the church exist there as well. And the player that doesn't want to play as the cleric can play as something else. I mean, if it's that story relevant and that important for existence, then what's the point of killing the character off? I feel like the player should have considered if they really want to kill the character off, it's going to be that important. Plus, I mean, there's so many cool things you could do as a cleric. Unless you just really don't like cleric, I'd say play cleric because cleric is just so fun. Obviously, don't force the player to play something they don't want to play, but definitely maybe have a talk with them, figure out some sort of a solution that everybody can be happy with. He was dead set on changing his character, so he had his character sacrifice himself in the name of the god he worshipped. For the next 2 sessions, he couldn't play because he had no character sheet, but he still showed up at our session, so we just played without him while he gamed on his laptop. Finally, he got his character sheet, but in the first session as his new character, he said 1 or 2 lines and then just played more games on his laptop for the rest of the session. It's infuriating. If he just wants to play games on his laptop, then why is he attending session? You can play games on your laptop anywhere, anytime, just whatsoever. Why are you guys having this guy at the table? Why is he showing up? The worst part of his new character is that he decided to make it a 3rd rogue and 2nd strength-based one at that. Assassin rogue was strength-based. This was really annoying because his character wasn't stealthy at all. I guess it worked as a joke, but I still feel irritated about it. This is still far from the worst part though. Our last session is a straw that broke the camel's back. We already banned laptops at the table, excusing Barbarian, who used a D&D Beyond character sheet, but still, about 5 minutes into the session, he pulled out his laptop and started doing something on it. I can't really recall. He did next to nothing last session too, instead of opting to say no lines or dialogue, but do one single action. Barbarian could always have the character sheet printed out of anything if you want to ban all laptops at the table, but yeah, I understand why you'd want to ban laptops at the table, because clearly Cleric is not interested in playing the game with you guys, they're interested in doing whatever they want on the laptop, and participating like what, 1% of the time for the whole session. That is not fun. If anything, that's actually rude to all of you guys and your DM for completely just wasting a spot. and not participating. What's the point of them being there if the only thing they're gonna do is just hold up a spot and warm a seat? Probably the DM should have said, hey, if you bring the laptop again, you're out of the game, because I'm not having it. The guy doesn't even bother to participate, then what's the point of him showing up in the first place? But the worst thing was the jokes he made before the session started. They weren't good jokes. They were crappy, weird, racist uncle-style jokes that made everyone at the table uncomfortable and annoyed, especially because he was saying them really loud inside of a freaking library. I really don't want to get kicked out. The main one that stuck was the flags are for countries, not people with mental disabilities, before faking us out by saying some crap like, I'm racing, you know? The black and white flag that people go crazy over? I don't even know what he meant. Ugh. Then halfway through the session, he just started showing everyone else at the table stupid videos. By that point, the first boss was introduced, and he slowed down the pace of the game by a huge amount. Obviously, the last session was a mess and not any fun at all, so we're going to confront him the next time we can about his frankly appalling behavior at the table. Good, I wish you guys luck with that. And listen, if the guy doesn't want to change whatsoever and doesn't want to be respectful, then just remove him from the table. You don't have to have somebody like that. You can get a replacement, somebody that actually wants to play and actually wants to participate in this campaign. The guy can just play his video games on his laptop somewhere else, at home. If the only contribution the guy is doing is warming a seat, that's not a player. That's somebody that's just there for the sake of being there. There's no point of having him at the table if he's not going to contribute. If you can't get through to him, I say kick him out. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. When a good player goes bad. I'm going to try to keep this short and sour because I just want to collect my thoughts about this. It all starts in my Tomb of Annihilation group. Over halfway through the module, another player, Bird, invites a friend of his to join a game. A little late, but I was thrilled to meet a new player. We'll call the Bird's friend Nasty. Nasty had a rough start of the campaign. When Tomb DM first tried to introduce his character to the party, she had an anxiety attack and couldn't continue that session. Naturally, that kicked me right in the bleeding heart because I knew what it's like to have intense social anxiety. In fact, I think everyone at the table could relate. We all made an effort to help Nasty feel comfortable and safe until she warmed up to us. She was a top-notch role player. Her big, buff Aasimar paladin had some excellent banter with my tiny halfling bard, and even good in-character drama at one point. I was having a lot of fun playing with Nasty. Only weird thing about her at the time was she'd occasionally make dirty jokes and not safe for work references. The thing that stuck in my brain was her talking about doing degenerate things in VRChat. Her words. The things that only VRChat players will understand. VRChat is it's a scape of its own, dude. It's a plane of existence of its own. It's a riot in more than ways than one. As somebody who plays VRChat, I have goosebumps. What do they mean by degenerate things? Are they talking about just casual ERPing with homies and stuff? Or are they talking about like truly degenerate things? At the time, I brushed it off because we were all adults and all prone to saying socially awkward things now and then. It didn't come up too often and is only a red flag in hindsight. Later on, Nasty wanted to try her hand at DMing. She invited me to play and I rolled up a human rogue. I genuinely enjoyed her game. It was a narrative-heavy homebrew story and she put a lot of effort into trying everyone's backstory into it. It was nice. Then she approached me about giving my character an ex-love interest. I admit that this felt a little jarring to me. She'd already made a figure of love interest in Hero Forge before asking me for one of their romance. It was a tad uncomfortable, but we talked it over like adults. She was very respectful of my boundaries, so I went along with it. I also thought it'd be a good writing challenge because I'm Arrow Ace, she knew I was, and I don't write romance that often. That, and I thought romance would be good for my character's arc. I wrote up a short story to give my rogue and the love interest some history, and Nasty loved it. She said how much she was looking forward to sweet sapphic romance, and I didn't think that was too weird. If anything, I was just happy that the romantic chemistry I wrote was going over so well. Again, only a red flag in hindsight. Romance can be done really well, can be tasteful in a storytelling game like D&D or any TTRPG, as long as it's done right and the player and DM have respect and understand each other's boundaries and follow the boundaries and not push past them. But I'm assuming Nasty earned their nickname not because they are respectful DM, but because they're a nasty freak, or they could do something absolutely terrible. Things were pretty hunky-dory for a while. That was until Tomb DM announced that Nasty had decided to leave the game and wouldn't be back for the foreseeable future. My first instinct was to be worried about her. I was afraid that she was going through a mental health crisis or something. That's when Bird dropped the bomb. Bird said that he and all her friends had cut ties with Nasty because she got caught grooming a minor, among other awful things. Oh. You know, I'm gonna say something. That happened a couple of times in VRChat where somebody got caught doing the terrible things and trying to coerce a minor to do horrible things on VRChat. It is a problem. It is not good, not okay. And to be fair, it happens a little bit too often than it really should. Like, it should happen none at all, but it happens way too often every year. I was shocked. I didn't want to believe it at first, but I had a gut feeling that it was true because it was so sudden. There was no sign of building drama or resentment that I could see anywhere. Plus, her comment about doing degenerate things in VRChat was starting to hit differently. Moral of the story, not every creep is obvious or even a problem at the table. Sometimes they can seem perfectly fine until they get exposed. I really hope that minor comes out of this okay. Same, honestly, for real. I hope police get involved. I hope Nasty gets what they deserve, a fucking prison sentence, because that's what they fucking deserve. God damn it. Dude, it's a problem. There's some people on VRChat that literally just can't help themselves and just get into the PDF style format activities, and it's not fucking okay. It is not fucking okay. I get wanting to do the hanky-panky and like ERP with friends on VRChat because you just can't help it yourself, but like as long as everybody's of age and consenting for this sort of thing. But like, not with minors. Leave the kids alone. It's terrible and awful about these kind of things that happen online. And it's not even just VRChat as well. I'm pretty sure like a year or two ago, there was somebody exposed on Final Fantasy. There was like a content creator or a streamer, and then they completely gone AWOL as soon as somebody caught him trying to flirt up with a minor in game. It's horrible, the kind of things that can happen on the internet, dude. It is terrible. Good lord. For the young person affected by this, like, I hope they make through it okay, but Jesus Christ, the Nasty deserves a prison sentence. Let me be the first one to say that not every person that plays VRChat or just like engages in like interacting VRChat does degenerate things. I know not everybody in VRChat is gonna be doing these things, but the saying a couple of rotten apples spoils a whole bunch, and it makes just everybody look really bad. It's just not a good look whatsoever. But I hope the young person that got affected by Nasty makes it through okay, and I hope Nasty gets a prison sentence. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.